Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
I'm Glennon Doyle, author of Untamed and host of the podcast We Can Do Hard Things. Each week, we talk openly and honestly about the hard things in life together with you. So join us and some of our dearest friends and greatest heroes to talk about anxiety, boundaries, parenting, infidelity, our bodies, loving and losing, all of the things that make us human. Listen to and follow We Can Do Hard Things on Odyssey and everywhere you get your podcasts.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Your guess is as good as mine. Coming up right after emails on our random question categories today, by the way. We've got the favorite foods if we could eat everything we wanted every day. Mm-hmm. And then we've also got the snobbiest states in the United States. It's coming up right after emails on our random question. 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Willis. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Random.
Hola. Willis, welcome to the program. Random question. All right, let's go with this one, Willis. What have you done to make someone else jealous?
What have I done to make someone else jealous?
I mean, it can be little things, man. You know, brag about your football team. I don't know. Big win in Vegas. Date a really hot chick after someone broke up with you.
Man. Sometimes it maybe like pull my pants up real tight so they see the size of my bulge. They definitely get jealous on that one.
Yeah,
I'm sure they do. Mm-hmm. I can't help but believe you.
I think I saw you the other day in the Walmart.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Making everybody jealous. So you've never had a situation where just out of spite, you thought to yourself, man, you know what?
Or just to piss your friends
right,
off.
I'm going to buy this car, this T-shirt, this whatever it is, because I know it's just going to, someone's going to see and go, oh, man.
I mean, maybe like random girls and stuff, you know, out at the bars, whatnot. But
okay. So nothing in particular.
Man, I can't think. That's a terrible one. I wish I had something better for that one.
Okay, all right.
I mean, you might be a decent person.
Right.
Might be.
Yeah.
Might be. No, dude, that is not it at all.
Person.
I'm horrible. I also make people jealous. Another thing that killed me most as a child, man, as far as like making me, because as an adult, you just don't care as much, but as a kid, all I wanted for like a year and a half was Kiss Alive 2. All right? It had come out on the cover, and when you're a little kid who likes Kiss, and on the cover, Gene Simmons all that blood trickling out of his mouth. It's like, this is a must-have. And I tried to explain this to my parents as best I could on several different, Christmases come and gone, and usually they were good at Christmas and birthdays, right? I would get at least a Kiss album, and they would get a Kiss album, just not Alive 2. And I don't understand what the issue was, but then my buddy down the street, I remember he got it. And all he wanted to do was call my house to tell me he got it. And I remember going to his house and listening to it, and I was delighted, but it burned me up that he had, and he knew that it crushed my soul that he had Kiss Alive 2 before I did. I wanted to kill him.
The one that pissed me off more than anything else was my buddy Christian. We're 15, both going for a driver's license. And the car at the time, and I know this sounds crazy, but the car at the time that I thought was the most badass thing that I'd ever seen in my life, like I'm going to get a job.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to buy this car, was a 1986 Pontiac Fiero. Now,
no, I get it at the time. I remember. It was
cool. Any car at 16 is awesome.
No,
yeah,
but the Fiero, this little itty bitty 2-seater piece of plastic.
It was all plastic,
man.
right? It was. I mean, and it was black. It had speakers and the headset.
Didn't it have a T-roof, I believe?
Oh man, you could take the roof off the top of this car. It was like the dream car for a 16-year-old kid. So, but he got it, and he got it when he was 15. So, like, he was getting close to his 16th birthday. They didn't even save it for his birthday. They, bought it for him before that. So this thing, it just sat in the garage. So we would go in there, man, and just turn on the battery and listen to music, you know what I mean, and just sit there.
Yeah.
Man, oh, God, that was like, it was so cool. And the thing about it was that he could never take you anywhere because it was just a two-seater.
Right.
So he would always drive around with his other buddy or his girlfriend or whatever. If you didn't ride anywhere, he couldn't hook you up. You know what I mean? Like
he couldn't even help you move.
You couldn't get in the back of it. Like, I swear to God, the seats backed up to the back of the car.
Yeah, it was a tiny vehicle.
And I don't even think it had a trunk or anything, but it was so cool. I mean, and then, like, I got some crappy car after I wrecked the first car I got, and it was just like it sucked. It was like an Oldsmobile. It was fine.
But it wasn't a Fiero.
But, you know, when you're a kid, you're just so like, I have to wear these shoes. I have to.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're
like
at your parents' mercy.
You're not practical. You know what I mean? You're trying to be more showy for your friends.
How long before he crashed his Fiero?
He never did.
Really?
No.
Does that make it even worse?
I don't know what... I mean, he drove the car all through high school, and trust me, that helped him out in more ways than he could ever imagine, because it's not that he was an ugly guy. He just didn't kick the best game in the world, but with that car...
He didn't have to.
He was dating girls from the high schools. That's insane. I mean, he could drive, to places.
Sure.
Oh, my God. People hated him at other schools, too. I mean, that's serious, because he had that car. There's always that one person who got, like, a car from their parents that was cool. Like a hand-me-down
right,
kind
but you kind of knew that
was coming. This was a brand new, like, we'd never seen this car before.
Yeah.
It was just so badass. It was like the modern version of an MG or a Spider, or, you know what I mean? Or,
it was a cool car. It was a piece of garbage.
Triumph-sized car.
My parents, so my father's always been a car guy. The Fiero came out. They did a West Coast trip back when we were living on the East Coast. So they did Pacific Coast Highway. But the big thing my father wanted to show me, and this is back in film camera, so we had to wait to go to Photomatic. But about a week later, here's 300 pictures, and he did not mention this. He just showed me the picture, and the first words out of my mouth are, "Did you rent a Fiero?" It's like, "Yeah, I got a red one." We drove up and down the coast in it. I'm like, "Oh, man." He's like, "Look, you wouldn't fit anyway."
Yeah.
It was me and your mom, dude. He said it was great, but the car sucked.
Yeah, Bernie, when we were like teenagers, one of his sister-in-laws or something. Anyhow, she had a Camaro that she wasn't using or whatever. Oh. Right? And it had like T-tops and everything. But same with your set. Like, it was so cool. And we
to be seen in it.
Oh my God. We take those T-tops off and go cruise around
just
the college
wind
campus.
In your hair, man. It was just like, you know what I mean? Cranking music up.
Oh, yeah.
He was, and then, of course, he lived like 3 houses down from me. So anytime he drove by my house, he had the stereo cranked up, man. He'd just wave, you know what I mean? I was like, you suck.
A couple of Fiero comments. Someone says the Fiero was a mid-engine sports car, something very rare in American-made sports cars. True. It says the men's room in 1986, the Fiero was my mom's car. And then I was working in Alaska the summer of 88. 2 guys showed up at the cannery in an 86 Fiero.
I mean, you're just like, I don't know why. It was a Pontiac, so who cares? But I mean, at the time it was like,
but they had Trans Am before.
That is a cool car.
That's it. Like, to me, growing up, Pontiac, I mean, look, looking back, I understand the error of my child ways, but they had the Pontiac Grand Am, right? Mm-hmm. You had the Firebird. Then they put out the Fiero, and I'm like, Pontiac, I'm telling you, this is the wave of the future. But it don't exist now.
You know what the weird thing about that, too, is back then, if you were an auto nerd in any way, shape, or fashion, you got to remember the cars were bigger, they're sturdy, they're made of steel. This car, other than the DeLorean, which was aluminum, this car was made of plastic, and it was the first one that was ever made. The first one that was ever made of plastic, bumper to bumper. So if you're a mechanic or you're a car geek, you're like, this is a piece of crap.
Yeah.
This entire car is made out of plastic. And now we look today, and, I don't know what the percentage of bodywork is on a car that's plastic, but it's a lot. You know what I mean? Like, there's no metal bumpers on cars anymore. Like, all these things that they were being critical of that car for is basically just standard now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they've updated the safety on it and everything else, but still. The reason we asked, what have you done to make someone else jealous? This is a crazy one. In a desperate attempt to make her ex-boyfriend jealous, a woman in Germany faked an elaborate wedding to get revenge on an old flame. A TikTok video of her envy-inducing antics has gone viral. It's got about 1.5 million views. Sarah Villard, she's 24, revealed her plan as she was dancing to the tune of Gnarls Barkley's 2006 hit Crazy, showing pictures of herself
apropos
holding hands with a groom for hire, wearing a long white dress. Yup, I'm crazy, she said in the video. She lives in Frankfurt, Germany, and she split from her former boyfriend in 2019 and hatched an evil, envy-inducing plan shortly after. She rented out Frankfurt's Villa Kennedy and rounded up her friends to play the roles of bridesmaids. She then posted those pictures to her Instagram, where she was certain her ex would see. And the crazier thing was, she was completely satisfied with the results. He found out through my Instagram and texted me the next day and freaked out because he thought I was cheating on him while we were together. That, of course, was not the case, but he came to my house and wanted to talk to me afterward. Jeez. I wasn't interested, so then she blocked and deleted him from all of her social media accounts and her life, which is crazy. We had a story last week about...
That is insane.
The person, what was it?
How much money did she spend? Because she paid as much as a wedding would cost to fake a wedding to make someone jealous who's not in your life anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that is...
She got money.
Crazy. Last week we had the story of the woman who was dating a guy who ended up going to jail, right? Mm-hmm. So he had a mistress. So the mistress did not know that he was incarcerated. So she basically said that he had passed on. And I don't know if she faked a birth certificate or whatever the deal was, but convinced his mistress that he was no longer alive.
Right.
Not the fact that he was sitting in a jail cell someplace. So that was.
And that went on for 3 years or something like that.
Yep.
By the way, a comment, Miles, you were bitching, saying, man, my buddy got the Fiero. All I wanted was the Fiero. I got some cars. Someone here says, shut the hell up. My first car was a damn Opel Kadett made by Buick. I think it was a 70s model. I can't recall. But every other car from 18 until about 42 was a piece of S. Now, some were badass, but always had to wrench them bastards.
Yeah. I like my Oldsmobile that I got. Trust me, it got me from it got me from point A to point B. It was fine. The seats were cloth.
Always good.
Had a Delco Freedom sound in there, 4-cylinder that just screamed. It was one of those cars where, your dad would say, we're pulling a hill, boys. We need to turn off the air conditioning unit.
Exactly. I remember those days.
Roll down the windows, kids. We're going up a hill. I don't want to drain the motor. It's like, what in the hell? What world am I living in, man?
That was everyone's fault.
That was everything.
I don't know why that was a big deal.
It happened all the time.
Yeah, we got to turn off the air conditioner. We're going on a long drive.
Yeah.
But we're in Texas. My parent, we were visiting family in Texas. The car broke down in Oklahoma. So it was the Volkswagen bus, right? Something went wrong. Anyway, the air conditioning dies, and they were having record-breaking heat. My brother and I are young kids, and my mother's not being verbal, but you can just tell by body language there's an issue between my mother and my father, and it has everything to do with how goddamn hot it is. Because
and those don't cool.
No, they don't.
The defrost doesn't work in most of those old Volkswagens. That's why you see people with fans mounted on the front
absolutely,
just to be able to clear the windshield.
But he was pretty good, like most fathers were back then. That car got an absolute once-over before you went on any long trip, right? So we're now leaving Oklahoma. We're headed toward Texas. And this is a long, horribly boring drive, but it is what it is. So now we crack the windows. And cracking the windows is like opening your oven, right? The heat's blowing in. So as my father explained it, because we're like, what's up with Mom? She just seems a little on edge. He's like, 1, it's not a little. And 2, your mother said, I can either buy her a plane ticket back to Rochester, we can get divorced, but you figure it out.
Not only that, but the back windows on those things, there were 2 kinds. It was like a pop-open window that would open like 2 inches.
Right.
Or
nothing.
there was a small slider on the camper that opened like 3 or 4 inches. So if you're in the back seat, which every kid is in that situation.
Absolutely.
What your parents don't understand is that is a rear-wheel drive vehicle with the engine in the back. And if you wanted to access the engine, what did you do? You pulled up the bucket seat in the back, and you got down with your hands, and you could get in there. Well, you sat directly on top of the engine when you're 8 years old. It is like sitting on top of an oven. You were on top of the engine.
But shut up about it. Don't complain. Let me hear your mouth again.
And, if they didn't cool the engine. You poured water into the freaking...
Constantly.
You had buckets of water sitting back there with you. You had to pull over. You had to wait 45 minutes so you wouldn't, blow crap all over the inside. And it was just like, it was a steam room back there. It was a sauna.
But that was every family trip. You knew this was going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
And it was almost like when it did happen, it's like, hey, guys, we got to pull over and do the thing. And the thing was wait for the car to cool down, dump the water in, etc.
Right. And I was the only one who could get my hand down there far enough because it was small and I could pour the water in a gallons. So, after he popped the cap, my stepfather, and I'd be the one pouring the water and he'd be like, don't spill any. It's going to get us another 100 miles. Then you have to stop again, because we were living in the mountains, so the car would just... it was screaming hot.
Random. Now somebody here says, I had a 91 Dodge Colt. It was white. We called it the Egg. I got no ass driving that car.
Yeah, your car's supposed to help you. You know what I mean? It's supposed to give you as much advantage as
That
possible.
does the opposite. We had a Dodge Omni, and it was like ass repellent.
That's what I should have done. I should have bought both my kids real ugly cars.
Yes.
So they would be good.
The Topaz did not pull chicks.
No. Not when you need like a wrench to roll down the window.
Yeah, that thing, it would go down, just wouldn't come back
Come back
down.
up. Oh, that's right. It's always your thing. Like, don't take it down. Don't take it down.
Then you got to push up.
Hello, Nick. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello.
Hola. Nick, welcome to the program. Okay, Nick, I think you can answer this one. By the way, Nicholas, real quick on your living situation. Do you live with anybody?
Yeah, I live with my wife. She doesn't like it too much.
Okay. Do you have roommates or are you married?
Married.
Wife.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And do you have children? I didn't hear that. My bad.
Yeah, we're a blended family of 5, so that's a fun time.
All right. I think you can answer this. Do you or anyone that you live with hide snacks around the house?
Yes. The kids do it constantly. We actually have to lock snacks in our closet in our room so that way they're not taken in the middle of the night.
Okay. What kind of snacks do you have locked in your bedroom?
Like any sort of chip, soda pop, Twinkies, things of that sort.
So your closet is basically an adult pantry.
It is. It is a huge vending machine.
So where they would think maybe that you have, I don't know, maybe they're old enough, I don't know how old they are, maybe some adult material back there, or I don't know.
No penthouse, but there's
Yeah,
a
right,
bag of
exactly.
chips.
Adult material back there, but I do keep a couple of firearms in there that are locked up, but they know not to touch them.
But you're not touching those. You're going in for Fritos.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
that's not what you're
Twinkie.
worried about. You're not worried about them getting into the guns. You're worried about them stealing your snacks, correct?
Exactly.
Have they discovered it at all? Like, is there any hint that they know that all that crap's in your closet?
Oh, they do that. We had to get a padlock and lock a padlock onto the door so that they could not get into it.
That's amazing.
Damn.
And what is your favorite snack? Like, what is your go-to? You know what I mean? Long
What's
day.
the one they get yelled at if they eat?
My go-tos are the Twinkies.
You still like a Twinkie?
I do like a Twinkie, a big glass of milk.
Man, I tried to get back. You know, like Twinkies, in my mind, they bring back nothing but wonderful memories. My parents never bought Twinkies, but my friends' parents did. So anytime you went there, you got a Twinkie. It was a treat. So a couple of years ago, I'm like, ooh, let me get a Twinkie, right? Thinking that all this childhood joy would come back. I just thought it was terrible.
Well, growing up, back in the day, they had what was called a banana flip, which was like a giant taco Twinkie with banana flavoring. It was like the most delicious thing ever. They stopped making it.
Yeah, how about a Chocodile?
Oh, those are good too.
Okay. I would take the Chocodile. A Twinkie covered in chocolate.
I think I understand what's going on in this guy's closet.
Do you guys hide snacks?
The only one I had, it's the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and it's not hidden. They're simply not tall enough to be able to see into that part of the cabinet.
So
yes, it's hidden.
I hide stuff for myself.
I do
gonna say,
too.
you
I
live
was gonna
alone.
say- No. You got to do it. I hide stuff from myself above the top of my oven. I've got a bag of peanuts right up there. I've got some peanut butter. I just got to hide them from myself in the middle of the night. And I know that if I won't remember that they're up there.
Sure.
I used to have a bag of chili barbecue Fritos.
Ooh.
Had those up there for a while. Got into those the other night. Not bad, but yeah, I hide them.
Yeah, I'm with you. There's like I told you, I have like a candy drawer, so I'll forget that the stuff's in there. But if I just
Exactly.
have it sitting out on a counter or something,
it's gone.
If it's in
delete
my
the candy.
normal snack area, it's
Yeah.
gone. 48% of people admit they've hidden food somewhere in their home so the people they live with won't eat it. 7 in 10 of those people are currently now hiding food. Number one reason we do it is because we know someone else is going to eat it all. 46 admitted, I just don't want to share what I got. Around 7 in 10 people who hide snacks said someone has discovered their stash before, so they've had to change their hiding spot an average of 4 times to try to keep it a secret. A few hiding spots people say they use: behind the washing machine, inside of a container of healthy food, like a Grape Nuts box.
Ooh,
That's
good
good
thinking.
thinking.
Yeah.
And behind books on a bookshelf. More of the random question coming up, 206-421-ROCK.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
Take the next step toward the career you want, be it business, cybersecurity, healthcare, or more. UMGC can help you get there. No application fee when you apply by August 31st. Visit umgc.edu. Certified to operate by Chev.
Everything is better electrified. Like the guitar, toothbrushes, or cars. And Hyundai has a wide range of electrified vehicles, including the first ever Tucson and Santa Fe plug-in hybrid EVs. You can use electric when you want it or gas when you need it. It's your journey. Evolve it beyond the pump in the 2022 Tucson or Santa Fe plug-in hybrid EVs. Visit your nearest Hyundai dealer or learn more at HyundaiUSA.com. Only available in select states. Call 562-314-4603 for complete details.
99.9 KISW. Yeah! You're in the men's room.
Random question, 206-421-ROCK.
The last question you asked touched a nerve. That was about if you live with other people, do you hide your food, right? Or anything like that around the house. Snacks, whatever it was. First, regarding Twinkies, somebody says, heck yes, we still eat Twinkies. Still delicious. And we keep them hidden from the kids also. Someone else, my 6-year-old son will be sucked into a movie that he's watched for the 5th time. As soon as I open the fridge door, I hear, hey, Dad, are you eating ice cream? I understand that one. Someone else says, my daughter's closet is a small 7-Eleven. Me and my wife hide food inside other food boxes we know the kids will never touch. Back to the grape nuts theory. And it says, I used to hide snacks for myself. The only problem was that I was the one who hid the snacks. And somebody finally says, I like this. When I still lived with my parents, I would hide my beer from my dad in the vegetable drawer. So it's still in the fridge. He just, it's like me. I will never open it. There's nothing in there I want to see.
For a while, I kept basically only beer in the crisper.
Yeah, I mean, until I had kids, I'm like, vegetable drawer.
We were in San Francisco, and there was a head shop. This is probably even before marijuana was legal, because I'm not sure that they had legalized marijuana there at the time. But either way, the one store we went in,
it was not legal yet, right?
But they had like all the things that people were getting popped for. It was like Michael Vick one point in time. I think he got busted for weed in an airport, but there was a screw-on Gatorade bottle, and at the bottom there was a false bottom on it. And you unscrewed it, and there's a little container in there.
I mean, there's liquid up top.
Yeah, and they had 100 of all these things that look like normal products,
and it's for travelers. Like, hey, you're going to get on the plane. Here's a small Pringles container, and there would be a few chips up top, but under the chips, man. And again, it's not legal, but anyway, because technically they said, well, it's not necessarily to smoke weed, so you want to hide cash around the house. Like, yeah, right, okay, we get it. There was the shaving cream can.
There was the fake Sharpie that was a bowl. Mm-hmm. So it was like a
highlighter.
A highlighter that was a bowl that you
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw that. It was a former coworker. I would not mention her name, but we were all going out to a bar after work, and she kept saying all day, I'm excited to show you my highlighter. So in my head, she must be talking about anything other than a traditional highlighter. And we get in her car, and she pulls out a Sharpie yellow highlighter, and she's all excited. I'm like, look, dude, I mean, I'm not trying to. And then she pops it open and realizes there's a cartridge in there, there's weed. I'm like, oh,
it was like Secret Agent Man, FBI, but weed. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, this is so cool.
There's a couple head shops in my neighborhood that still have all that stuff.
The problem is the way my kids are now. If I had a Pringles can, they'd be like, Dad, we found weed in the bottom of our Pringles.
Random.
Hello, Zach. Welcome to the men's room.
Boo, bitches.
Boo!
Zach, welcome to the program. Random question. Zach, you work someplace, correct?
I do.
Okay. Zach, here's your question. What is your specific job title? But with that, what is your job really like? So what is your exact job title?
My exact job title, I'm a machinist.
You're a machinist.
Okay.
So, but what do you really do?
If someone brings in something that they've already made that is a little bit messed up and they need it fixed, we fix it. I take raw blocks of material and turn them into parts that can go into outer space.
So your job actually lives up to its title.
Yeah.
So whatever people contract you guys for, you basically do?
Yeah.
Okay. What is the strangest thing that you've worked on?
The strangest thing.
It's like, what is this?
We did some parts that were going like under the ocean, like 1,000 feet under the ocean for an oil rig, and the thing just looked wicked weird. Like it had all these ports and valves and all these crazy tight tolerances, and it was just going to be a part of a pump for oil drillers or whatever.
So, like, how many times do you make something, and kind of like you're saying with this oil drilling thing, in theory, you're like, I have no idea what they're going to do with this next?
Almost 100% of the time. I kind of make it to a point, because most of them have like NDAs and stuff that go with it. And so, I just kind of make it a point, hey, we just want your work. We don't care what it's going to do. We just need the money. So,
has there been anything where you're suspicious of it? Like, obviously, companies come in and they have different requirements for whatever it is they do. But have you ever had they come in and you're looking at this thing, you know what you're making, and think, this can't possibly be put to good use?
We used to do some military contracts and some missile tubes and stuff.
Okay, damn.
I mean, obviously it was going to be put to good use for the military, but when you're making it, you're just thinking about who is it going to blow up or what's it going to blow up.
Right.
Okay. Our good buddy Jay does that. He does submersible stuff. He like the kind of thing where, if you're a scuba diver and you've got it's basically
jetpack thing,
yeah,
you hold on
you
to.
basically just hold it and it takes you where you want to go, and then there's all this other military stuff. Yeah, all the stuff that goes way down.
I'm not a dude. I don't want to go way down. I don't even want to scuba dive. But if I do scuba dive, I definitely want one of those jet things.
Yeah,
it just looks cool.
Just the idea of these things, they can't fail.
Right.
And then the other stuff that's submersible, where it's not powered by man. There's all kinds of stuff like that, too. It's fascinating stuff. The reason we asked, what is your job title and what is your job really like? A woman in a stolen truck led police on a chase in northwest Arkansas that ended when she got out of the truck naked and had to be tackled by a police officer.
See, no.
Naked. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Police pulled over a white pickup truck carrying several loaded guns and pulling a loaded trailer that was stolen around 4:15. According to a police report, less than 10 minutes later, an Arkansas State Police trooper found the truck traveling west on I-40. The driver, later identified as 48-year-old Deidre Lewis, refused to pull over. According to the report, she began the pursuit with multiple police agencies for about 10 miles. Police said Lewis tried to shake off the items in the back of her trailer, leaving cargo along the road. A officer was able to set up a tire puncturing spike strip, and dash cam footage shows the state police vehicle and the truck and the front side tire blown out as Lewis was forced to pull over. The video shows her quickly getting out of the driver's side of the truck, wearing only a jacket and what appears to be a shirt on her head. She takes the jacket off as she walks toward the officers. An officer with a large gun then appears in front of the police vehicle and then tackles her. She was taken to the jail where she was being held as we speak.
Again, and I'll say this until the day I die, there are shows that you see on TV that show police, Chicago PD, and they do real serious. They are saving the city from a threat you don't even know about. And then 9 times out of 10, when you look at police blotter, it's like, no, we tackled a sweaty, naked stranger that we don't know.
On concrete.
On concrete. This is not how I want my day to be. Hello, Carson. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Carson, welcome to the program. Random question. Carson, you've had roommates?
Hey. What?
I said, have you lived with roommates before?
I have, yes.
Okay. Let's go with this one. What would you say is the weirdest thing that you've caught a roommate or someone you live with doing? What is the strangest thing?
Oh, man. I have an interesting one for you guys.
Okay.
So there was this time my girlfriend and I were hanging out after work and everything, and then we hear my roommates, the separate couple, and we hear them start doing their thing, I don't know if sex, can I say that?
Yes, yeah, say sex.
All right, cool. I don't know the limits on what I can say or can't say. But so they're doing it, and then next thing you know, we start hearing the flute playing, and we're like, the best way to say it is like one of those, like a train flute.
Okay,
if that makes sense.
I got you.
And we start hearing that going like crazy, and then so we start laughing, and then we hear more. They're literally having sex and playing a whole bunch of instruments while they're having sex.
I mean, I'm not against that. I just don't know how I'd broach that topic. Like, look, Mama, if you really want to get to Happy Town, let's play the flute.
My mouth is not there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that much.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not playing an instrument. That requires hands and your mouth.
Maybe they had a third person who was simply serenading them with flute while they had sex.
I mean, I'm standing up. I guess I could do it. But.
Did you ever, did you ask them about this? Like, hey, man, I'm not trying to listen in, but when you started playing flute, I got curious.
So I did ask my roommate, and then he starts just cracking up, and he kind of walks away like he didn't want to talk about it, but he knew that we could definitely hear about it. And so it was kind of left at that, just a laughing matter, and walk away.
Okay. All right.
Man, man, that guy has a real specific type.
Yeah. The reason we asked, what's the weirdest thing you've caught a roommate doing or someone you live with? Anyone who's lived with a stranger or somebody that they know even very well know that people do some weird things. So they asked on a discussion group, what is the weirdest thing you've ever caught a roommate doing? Here are some of the better answers. A guy was caught licking a plate clean in the kitchen, but then he put it back in the cupboard.
Oh, come on, man.
Not the craziest thing. My roommate would occasionally sleep in the fetal position, but he would do it upright on his knees. So his butt was up in the air.
And like his head down?
And his head was down, but he was in the fetal, but like downward dog kind of. You know what I mean?
And he's sleeping.
Butt up, yeah. So they named him the snail. A woman caught her roommate using her hairdryer to dry off his junk.
Yeah.
Another says, quote, I walked in on my roommate's girlfriend shaving his butt for him. In a place with 2 showers that weren't being used, someone caught the roommate washing her hair in the kitchen sink. Not the weirdest thing, but they didn't take the dirty dishes out. And she was naked. I caught my roommate pouring a giant pot of beans into the toilet for absolutely no reason. Another got home from work early, found the roommate playing video games in nothing but tighty-whities in a motorcycle helmet. And yes, he was playing a motorcycle racing game.
Oh, my God.
And someone found the roommate lying on the kitchen floor making snow angels. And when they asked him why, he said he was just trying to get real dirty before he took a shower. So it was some of the weird
justifying his shower. Okay. All right. Hello, Aaron. Hello, Aaron. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola. You all right over there, man?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Just choking on a peanut.
All right.
That's why I don't keep him in the house. Aaron, what were you excited about that actually ended in disappointment or just didn't live up to your expectations?
Oh, let's see. I had to be a few years ago, probably a decade ago. I went to a concert with a couple buddies of mine and really stoked about the band. And it was actually a pain in the grass. But the lead singer ended up getting sick, and he wasn't able to perform, so the show got called short.
I think that was a drummer, if I'm not mistaken, and that was Slipknot.
Slipknot, yeah.
We were there.
That's correct.
Oh, man.
And leading up to it, man, so we were there, right? And we're doing Pain in the Grass, and Slipknot is there. And as far as we knew, they were going to play. That was kind of the thing all day. And then when it started getting closer to the time, you started hearing some rumblings that maybe somebody, but we weren't sure who, just somebody in one of the bands that has not played yet, isn't feeling well or whatever the hell the problem was. Then it was, hey, Slipknot's going to cancel. I believe they were also the headliner.
They were.
But it's like somebody has to walk out on stage and tell like 10,000 people a funny thing happened.
Yeah. And it wasn't going to be us.
Yeah, we were like, no, I'm not. I do not want to be that guy.
Corey Taylor wins that award.
No, yeah, Miles is right. Like, nobody ended up doing it except the band.
This is the entire staff of KSW, and the boss is like, well, we have to tell the crowd. We're like, we understand that. When one of you guys be willing to do it? We're like, no, I mean, if you're looking for volunteers.
So I did go back, though, when they did the makeup show.
Okay.
And did that stage announcement.
Well, yeah, that's like the heroic one.
They did it later on. I don't think that guy's with the band anymore, by the way. But here was the weird thing. It was basically a sold out show.
Yeah,
they were the headliner. Not the music had been playing all day, but most people, like anything else, we might have done Pain in the Grass a couple days that year, if I'm not mistaken. It might have even been 3 days. I can't remember. But
no, I think this was a one-off.
That was
This was a one-off. Well, that makes the situation. But the place is packed, and now Corey Taylor's got to go out there, and it's dark.
Yeah.
And he's got to tell everybody that Slipknot is not playing. So as quickly as you have to understand, not knowing what would possibly happen at this point, because people are obviously going to be disappointed by this. Yes, we know there'll be a makeup date. Yes, we know those tickets will be, they'll be fine to get you back in, but that's not what anyone wants to hear that night, right?
To get out of that parking lot.
So the boss, real quick, man, he just hurdles everybody up. and shoves us all in a van. Says, get the F out of here before the stuff hits, before he goes out there. So at least that way, we wouldn't be lingering around with people like asking us a million questions and wanting to beat our asses because the band didn't go out.
Yeah, he thought the crowd basically was going to bum rush the backstage and kill us. He's like, oh my God. We're like, dude, I don't think they're going to react to that.
You got to remember, man, we're pulling out of the gravel lot at White River Amphitheater. We're all crammed into a van, and we hear like, ladies and gentlemen, you hear this roar coming from Auburn that just sounds like, you know what I mean? Like the worst call was ever made at the Super Bowl against the Seahawks. Right. The place just erupts, and we're just flying past the fireworks place going, get me the F out of here.
So, Aaron, if it makes you feel any better, you weren't alone in your disappointment.
We were terrified.
Oh, I know. I'm speaking for many.
And disappointed as well. Did you end up going back to the makeup show?
I wasn't able to make it. I had to. It didn't work out in my schedule, so yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's
dude, the makeup show, I do the stage announcement.
Right.
And then they weren't expecting that many people to show back up. But more people showed up than they expected. So
sure.
Because the grass was closed, you could just sit wherever you wanted. But so many people showed up, they had to open the grass. And then they ended up playing. But after we did the stager, it was 45 minutes.
Oh, God.
And, I'm sitting in the seats, and I, look at my buddy, I go, we give this maybe 5 more minutes, but if they cancel again tonight, people might actually do something.
And you gotta remember, the way these bands work, too, if there's a venue where you have, let's say, 8 bands that day, okay, if that band were to play any of the bands, from the beginning band, the local band to a band that's closing the show, if it's just their show with one other band, they have a completely different set. They play for wouldn't matter if you saw them at the Tractor Tavern, if you saw them at the Paramount Theater, if they are the headliner, they're going to put on a show that night. Well, those types of shows with multiple acts are more of like a Vegas style show where the set's a little bit, because you got 5 major bands playing.
Right. There's less pyro, shorter musical sets. Right.
So maybe you were only going to see Slipknot for say like an hour and 45 minutes that night. Well, if they're going to come back and play on their own, they might play 2.5 hours.
They might.
2 hours and 45 minutes. They'll do their long set. But they can't.
Man, you know what? I guess. I don't remember. I mean, we stayed for the whole thing, and it kicked ass.
Oh, sure.
And it looked really cool seeing their breath.
Oh, that's right. It's a little chilly.
Right, because it might have been October. It was pretty late in the season for outdoor concerts. But yeah, when they were singing, you could see Corey Taylor's breath. I was like, that's pretty cool.
You know what that means? That means when he got on the bus, he's like, my throat is shot.
There's not 12 bands.
And I wish Ted would stop saying how cool it looked. Seriously, man, my throat hurts.
Because they're shuffling in gear and out. So it's just their stage show. So they can bring everything they want, everything else.
And I got to tell you, we had that crowd pumped. They're chanting Slipknot.
For 45 minutes?
Well, for a while. That's why I got scared when it kicked in half an hour. We cannot look like this idiot again.
Reason we asked, what were you excited about that ended in disappointment? A father-to-be proved himself the biggest baby, this future child's gender reveal. A TikTok video from this spring has captured the moment a dad learned that his unborn child will be a girl. A fact he seems not very happy about. While the rest of the crowd erupts and cheers as the pregnant woman pops a balloon covered in question marks that proves to be filled with smaller pink balloons, revealing that the woman will be having a daughter. By the way, the mom-to-be is holding her daughter. She has another daughter. The father has quite a different reaction. When the balloon is popped and the pink balloons fly out, he says, "Son of a bitch." He appears to scream, throwing down the balloon strings in frustration and turning away from the party guests as they were all smiling at him.
Oh, his future daughter's going to be so excited to see that video.
Your guess is as good as mine. Count out the categories, our favorite foods, and snobby people. You are listening to The Men's Room.